What is up, everyone? Just sipping on my Monster because we're about to smash a full back workout, pull day actually, at Muscleworks. We've just arrived. Yes, I can't wait because it's my favorite day to train in the gym. I absolutely love training back, and I'm going to be running you through the full thing. So stay tuned if you're enjoying my content. If you're liking what I'm putting up on the channel, then make sure to like, share, and subscribe. I'd love it if you did that. So other than that, enjoy the workout, guys. So before we get started, just wanted to show you the MaxFit coaching cut. You know, it's looking very nice. It's pretty much, you know, it's pretty good. Look at it. So cut off is the first sample of the whole bunch. So I'm going to be making some alterations to this, and then I'm going to be releasing them to my clients, and then who knows what we're going to do with this next. But I'm loving the fit so far. Very nice material, very nice length, good on the shoulders. Stay tuned for any more information about this on my Instagram and my YouTube. Let's get in the into the workout. Starting off with a warm-up on the single arm cable row. If you struggle to engage your lats, try this exercise out. I'm fully focused on engaging my lats. I'm actually holding the area that I want to squeeze, and I'm pulling the weight back with my elbow and squeezing the lats so they come back. And I'm actually got a slight turn. I'm slightly angling my body so that I can get more range of motion. I do this 2 sets of 12 repetitions, and this is purely just to warm myself up, to get myself firing, and then I move on to the full workout, which starts with lat pull downs. Then I move on to single arm rows on the machine, rope pull downs, rear delt flies, preacher curls, and cable curls. So the first exercise is lat pull down. This is to focus on the lats. The whole workout is focusing on the lats. The format for the first 3 exercises, which are the first 3 compound movements, is a pyramid fashion format, whereby I start on a warm-up, then I move to 2 sets of finding out what weight works well in between 5 to 10 reps, and then I do 2 sets to failure, depending whatever rep range that is, and then I do a back-off set, usually between 8 to 10 or failure. As you can see, this is my first warm-up set on the lat pull-downs. I am making sure that I am pulling the weight all the way down to my chest. I'm pulling the weight with my elbows, leading with my elbows. I'm squeezing my lats the whole time, and I'm depressing my shoulders down before I pull the weight, and I'm actually allowing my shoulders to come up at the point where there is the least tension of the movement. I do this throughout every lat pull down set, and I'm making sure that all the focus is in the lats. This is my first set of finding out what weight works well. So I've moved up slightly in weight, and I'm going to do 8 repetitions here. On the warm up, I did 10 repetitions. This was 8 repetitions. This is my first working set actually, and you can see the difference. This is a bit of a struggle already. I think I only get 5.5 reps on this, but I'm really trying to work to failure here. Unfortunately, this was a bit of a mind game, this one, and I could have got more, but I only got 5.5. You'll see that I could have got more because I really turned things on the second set. I wasn't happy with the first set of working to failure. So I made sure that this set, I actually got 7 repetitions. You can see the difference in my determination in my face. And sometimes this game is just all about your mindset. You know, if you tell yourself you're going to reach a certain repetition and you don't give up till you reach that certain repetition, okay, you're probably going to get it. Sometimes that's all it is your mind is telling you to give up before your body. And this is my last set. Okay, this is actually my back off set, which I did 8 repetitions, lighter but still very hard to perform. Certainly burnt out by now on the lat pull down. See, just get the 8th rep there, and I call it a day on that one. So moving on to the single arm rows now with a dumbbell. Again, this is lat focused. The whole workout is focused on building the lats because I'm trying to get wider at the moment. I had a bit of a struggle here because I couldn't quite get the range of motion as the bench is so low to the ground. I actually found that as you can see, the dumbbell, I couldn't, get the reach on the dumbbell going down. However, as the workout went on, and I performed this exercise a couple more times, I managed to get a hold of it. You'll see that I'm pulling the weight back with my elbows. It's in a swooping motion. It's not in an up-down motion. It's not in a straight line. It's in a swooping motion. I'm making sure that I'm engaging my lats, and I'm actually depressing my shoulders again first before I'm pulling the weight up. This is still the first set, finding out what weight works well. I do 10 repetitions here. Now I'm putting on my bear grips. I haven't actually spoke about bear grips much. Basically, they improve your grip. When you're training, you don't necessarily want your grip to go before the actual muscle you're trying to train. So I use grips to help me go to true failure with the muscle I'm trying to train rather than my grip giving out first. This is my second set of finding out what's working well. Now I'm on to my first set of failure. I managed to get 9 repetitions out here. This was an absolute grinder. Again, I'm making sure that my form doesn't slip. I'm pulling the weight with my elbows. I'm making sure everything is tight with my core. My back is straight. I'm stable. My body and core is all stable. I'm just making sure I'm only moving my arm and keeping my shoulder as in place as possible. Obviously, as fatigue starts to set in, it does become more difficult to perform the exercise with the correct form. Now I'm just contemplating life, figuring out what I'm going to do next, how I'm actually going to do the next set to failure. Struggling there. Now, the second set of failure, I actually went up in weight and still managed 9 repetitions. So you've got to question, am I actually going to failure on the first set, or is my mind giving up before my body? Because I've actually increased the weight and managed to get the same repetitions. Now, you don't have to train like this. If you're a beginner or just someone who likes to train, you can actually train within 3 repetitions of failure and still get enough stimulus in the muscle to help with growth. I am slightly more advanced than an intermediate. I wouldn't say I'm an advanced lifter, but I'm moving towards that sort of end of the spectrum, and I need to train hard to get the same stimulus in my muscles to basically help them grow. So I'm making sure that I'm at least doing 2 sets to failure on all my compound lifts at the moment with my training. It seems to be working very well with me. Mixed with a calorie surplus, I seem to be putting on a lot of muscle quite quickly. So I'm very happy with that. This is just my back off set here. I'm only managed 7 repetitions because I was struggling by then. Same sort of movement with the swooping, leading with my elbow. This is now the single arm rows, but on the machine. I find that on this machine, it really works well. It's great engagement in the lat. It's a great machine. I love it. However, I can never quite get my wrist placement correct. You'll notice that, my wrist is slightly bent when I pull it down towards my body. Your joints should actually be stacked. You should have your elbows, your wrists, and your fists should all be in line. You'll definitely notice it at this view. You see how I've got a slight bent wrist. You don't really want that when performing this exercise. You want everything to be stacked. You want your elbow and your wrist and your fist to be in line. However, I find that this could be a mobility issue for me. Nevertheless, I managed to do 2 good sets of failure. I'm only showing you the 2 sets of failure here. However, with the first 3 compound movements, like I said, they were all in the pyramid format, like I spoke about earlier. Having some laughs and giggles here for no apparent reason, probably because I'm embarrassed at how I struggled there with that set. The pre-workout, I tell you, I took pre-workout for this session, and fuck me, it absolutely blew my head off. I hate taking pre-workout. I remember why now. I seem to lose my mind every time I take pre-workout, and I really struggle with it. It makes me feel very sick. So that will be the last time I'm taking pre-workout for a while. Again, moving to as close to failure, if not failure, pretty much with this set. I couldn't do any more. So yeah, we're at failure there. That's good for me. That was 7 repetitions. Well, 6.5 really. Got a bit more of a swing this time. Obviously getting a bit more fatigued. It's okay. when you're getting towards the end of your set on the last few repetitions to use a tiny bit of momentum. You will find that keeping strict form throughout a full set when you're working this hard and you're using heavy weight will be difficult, but as long as, you know, most of the set is with strict form and the last few repetitions aren't, that's fine. Now we're moving on to our isolation work. This is the rope pull down. Usually I would do this with the lat pull down bar, but I noticed that there was 2 cables next to each other that I could use 2 ropes with. This enables me to get more range of motion. With a lat pull down bar, you can only stop at your hips, whereas the rope, I can actually pull back further than my hips, which gets a bit more of a stretch on the lats. Unfortunately though, as I pulled back, the cable machine was actually hitting the top of the machine, so I couldn't get as far back as I wanted to, but I was still able to get more further back than a lat pull down. This is focusing purely on the lats. I'm keeping my back and core straight and controlled, and I'm making sure the whole movement is just squeezing the lats and keeping those arms straight. We're not doing a push down, we're doing a pull down, so the arms need to stay straight so that all the focus goes into the lats. Supersetting this with the rear delt fly machine. This is a great one for your rear delts. Just make sure that you're keeping your shoulders down and depressed. Like every single movement should be on this lat focused pull day. You don't actually have to pinch your shoulders back though on this one. You can actually leave your shoulders forward and just make sure that you're pulling the weight back and getting the squeeze in the rear delts. That will work fine for you. Again, contemplating life here. Now, finished up with the back movements. We're now moving on to the bicep movements, which is the preacher curl. This is the first of 2 exercises I use for my biceps. Before we do talk about this though, on the rope pull down and rear delt fly, I did 3 sets of 8 repetitions on the pull down and 10 repetitions rear delt flies. With the preacher curls, I'm doing 4 sets to should be 12, but I only manage 11 here. Little tip when you're performing bicep exercises: when you pull the dumbbell up, you'll notice that I'm tilting the dumbbell so that my pinky is then tilting more towards my bicep. Okay, if you actually do that now and you tense your bicep, then you tilt your wrist so that your pinky's going towards your bicep and it's turning your wrist outwards. Okay, you'll notice that you get more of a squeeze in the bicep. If you do this with every single repetition, you'll get more tension and contraction in the bicep, and it will definitely help with bicep contraction, because at the end of the day, most of this is mind muscle connection. You need to be connecting with the muscles that you're trying to grow. You need to be thinking about squeezing them. With every repetition here, I am focusing on squeezing my bicep, turning the dumbbell out, squeezing my bicep, turning the dumbbell out. Make sure the pinky is turning, outwards, squeezing the bicep, and keeping a slow tempo. Every single exercise on this workout, I've made sure I've done a 2-second to 1-second tempo. I find that works really well for me, and I'm keeping that tempo as best as I can, apart from a few repetitions here and there. Now moving on to the final exercise, which is the cable curls, double arm cable curls. A few posing movements here, just the side bicep, then tensing the tricep, coming in for a double bicep, then double bicep, arms raised, facing the camera, just playing around with a few movements, seeing what it's like. Back to the side pose, tense the tricep, squeeze the bicep. Just playing around with a few things before we move on to the double arm cable curls. This is also 4 sets to pretty much failure. I think I get about 8 to 10 repetitions here. With the preacher curl, my elbow was supported, so I didn't have to worry too much about keeping my elbow in place. You could just literally just keep your elbow on the pad and control the bicep like that. It was quite easy. However, with this movement, I'm actually having to focus on where my elbows are. I'm making sure that my elbows aren't falling too far behind my body and that my bicep is getting lost behind my body. I'm actually keeping my elbows in front and keeping my biceps in front and shoulders back and down so that all the tension is focused on the bicep. And this is the final repetition here, really struggling, back to doing some posing. And that is actually the full workout, guys. So I really enjoyed this workout. I had a good fun. Apart from the pre-workout, that actually zonked me out big time. But I enjoyed it nonetheless. Thank you so much for watching. Here's a little bit of a posing routine towards the end, just to show you where I'm at with my physique right now. I'm going to let this play out to a bit of music, but thank you so much for watching. Again, that's the full workout, lat focused. I will put the workout, in the description so that you can follow. Make sure that you do follow this if you want to build up your lats. It's a great workout. Thanks for watching, guys. Please do subscribe. I appreciate you all. See you in the next one.